Okay, 7th graders, today we're talking about proportions. And your essential question for today is, can you solve proportions? So first let's talk about what a proportion is. A proportion is two equivalent or equal. Equivalent just means equal. Ratios. And we could also just say that they're two equal fractions or two equivalent fractions. And what does it mean to be proportional? It just means that our rate stays the same. So the rates are the same. And if we were to reduce our equivalent fractions, they would be equal. So they end up being fair, or they end up being equal to each other. So proportions are all about equality. And cross products, well, product just means multiply. And cross, so we're multiplying across the fractions or the proportions. So, one way to tell whether ratios form a proportion or not is by looking at their cross products. Or telling what you can multiply by to make these equal. So, 1 times 5 would be 5. But is 5 times 5 15? The answer would be no. So this is not a proportion. The other way we can decide if this is a proportion is by doing the cross product. 15 times 1 is 15. 5 times 5 is 25. And those are not equal, so it's not a proportion. On the second one, is there a number that we can multiply 2 and 3 by to get to 12 and 18? 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. So yes, this is a proportion because those are equivalent fractions. They are equal to each other. Just 2/3 is reduced all the way and 12/18 is not. Let's try our cross product to see if that works. 18 times 2 is 36. 3 times 12 is 36. So yes, this is proportional. On number 3, is there any way to get from 15 to 4 that's the same as going from 2 to 30? No, I don't believe so. And if we do our cross products, 2 times 4 is 8, and 30 times 15 is 450. So those are definitely not proportional. On number 4, how can we get from 56 to 8? I believe we can divide by 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3. So yes, those are proportional. And if I did 56 times 3, I would get 18. 3 times 5 is 15, 16. And 21 times 8, 8 times 1 is 8, 2 times 8 is 16. So yes, they are proportional. Let's take a look at our second row. 5/8 and 62.5 over 100. I think our easiest solution is going to be cross products. 100 times 5 is 500. 62.5 times 8 is 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 6 times 8 is 48, 49, 50. And we have 1 place in our decimal, so we have 1 here. So that's 500 as well. So yes, those are proportional. On number 6, I think we need to do our cross products. So 106 times 17. 7 times 6 It's 42, 7, 8, or 0, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes 1 is 7. Bring down my 0. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. So I got 1,802. Now I need to do 90.1 times 20. And I can bring down my 0 here. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 9 is 18. 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place. So I get yes, because they're both 1802. On the next one, 4 times 6 is 24. So I could just check 3.2 times 6 to see if that's 16. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18, 19. I have 1 decimal place. So if 4 times 6 makes 24, 3.2 times 6 should make 16, but it doesn't. It makes 19.2. So those are not proportional. And the last one, 50 divided by 5 makes 10. So 34 divided by 5 should make 6.8. 5 goes into 34 6 times. Bring down my 0. 5 goes into 48 times. And that's true. 34 divided by 5 is 6.8. So yes, this is proportional. Alright, let's take a look at some real world examples. The first one says, you swim your first 4 laps in 2.4 minutes. You complete 16 laps in 12 minutes. Is the number of laps proportional to your time? So we want to set up a problem that is a proportion. So we need 2 fractions. I'm going to label laps and minutes so that I don't get them confused. And I'm going to say, okay, my first 4 laps were in 2.4 minutes. And I want to know, does that equal 16 laps in 12 minutes? Well, I know that 4 times 4 is 16. So 2.4 times 4 should be 12. But it's not. It's 9.6. So no, it's not proportional. And if I read 20 pages of a book, so I'm going to label pages and minutes. 20 pages of a book in 25 minutes, and I have 36 pages of a book in 45 minutes. Is the number of pages read proportional to your time? Let's see. I would do cross multiply. 45 times 20. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 4 is 8. 900. And 36 times 25. 5 times 6 is 30. 15, 18. 2 times 6 is 12. 6, 7. And 900. So, yes, the number of pages we read is proportional to our time. Alright, so the last 4 problems I have for you to do for homework, you're going to set up points over games and write your 2 fractions and tell whether they're proportional or not. And here we're going to do notes over measures. Set up our 2 fractions and tell whether those are proportional or not. On number 3, you can type 105 words in 2 minutes. So we're going to do words and minutes. And your friend can type 210 words in 4 minutes. And we're going to tell, are those proportional? And on number 4, you make punch for a party, the ratio of ginger ale to fruit juice. So ginger ale to fruit juice is 8 cups to 3 cups. And if you decide to add 4 more cups of ginger ale, how many more cups of fruit juice do we need to add to keep the correct ratio? So 8 and 3, and then 4, and you need to figure out what that last number would be to make a correct proportion. So you get to decide what would be proportional.